Welcome to The Money Hour with host Tina Mitchell and co-host Keelan Harvey. Tina Mitchell, MLO 145420, and Keelan Harvey, MLO 1330075, are licensed loan originators with Gateway Mortgage Group, LLC, and MLS 7233. The views expressed by the speakers on the following program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of Gateway Mortgage Group, LLC, nor are they necessarily endorsed by Gateway Mortgage Group, LLC. Now, in the studio, local mortgage experts Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
Welcome to the Money on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, February 8th show. I am your host, Tina Mitchell.
And I am your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
We are your local mortgage experts bringing in expert advice and inside knowledge on today's events and how they can affect your economy. If you're hearing our show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast, but we're here to answer any questions or connect with the guests that we have on the show. You can call the show at 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150, or you can also catch us on podcast. And our lineup for today, it's actually a really special show because we probably do these shows a couple times a year where we have a panel conversation. So you'll want to definitely be here for the beginning of the show all the way to the end of the show to catch our conversation with our three guests today. We have in studio Gina Medea and Trina Torkelson with Windermere Euro Bay office. And we have John Torkelson with Protection Home Inspection. Today, we're going to talk about the new construction market. Great information and great guests in studio. Again, for more information on the topic discussed today or to connect with our guest, you can call the show at 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com, or you can catch us on podcast. And I think we'll start out the show today. What do you think, Keelan, with a little bit of
money chat?
Little money chat.
Money.
So, Keelan, before we were starting the show here today, you and I were having a little behind-the-scenes money chat, and you said you had something you wanted to bring in for money chat. It was like an announcement or something, and
yeah,
I don't know about it. What the heck?
It's more of a personal announcement.
Oh,
but
okay.
Drum roll. I'm getting married this year.
How long have you guys been, you've been engaged for a while, but how long have you been holding this secret back?
Well, literally, we just decided this weekend that we've been together for 11 years.
Yes.
We were friends for 5 years before that, best friends.
Yeah.
And then, just decided this weekend. We've had all these grand plans. You have no idea. In Seattle, we were going to go to Mexico. We were going to get a compound. We were going to do this.
Well, Angela's a grand girl, so and you're kind of a grand guy.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
She's pretty amazing. I'm a very, very lucky man. But and people always look at the guy why haven't you got married yet? What's going on? And it's totally on her. I'm when do we want to get married? And we keep changing plans. And now we decided we're going to do Vegas and just get it done. Yeah. And instead of just doing a normal, nothing about us is normal. So instead of doing the traditional thing, we're going to do all the traditional things you do in a wedding, but do it in different places throughout Vegas. So go super grand on a room and then invite the family down. The wedding is going to be the smallest part of the weekend. Of course, you guys are invited. Duh.
Okay, duh.
But it's going to be...
Victoria, you ready to party in Vegas?
It's going to be an epic weekend. For sure. We're thinking...
what hotel are you guys going to stay at? Have you decided?
We haven't completely decided. We've narrowed down to a few, but it just depends. And we are also looking at gigantic houses. That would be a compound where everybody could just go, and it could be a destination.
Fun.
But it's for us, I think it's more about the experience. I mean, all my friends have already been married and spent this fortune on this one night, and they're all what do you, don't do it. Just don't do it, because, I don't even remember what my wedding was about because I was so busy with everybody else. And for us, it's about the experience. So if I'm going to drop a big coin on an event, I want it to be about the people that I love and care about, and have it just be an epic experience for everybody. So
congratulations, Angela and Keelan. I'm so happy for you guys. You guys are a beautiful couple. You've got a beautiful little girl, and lots of exciting things happening. And, really, Money Chat is about business or personal because, you want to know a little bit about your host and co-host as listening to the show. I mean, the Money Hour has been 10 years running now. It's a decade for 2020.
Crazy.
So really excited about that. And so, yeah, it's kind of a little mix of everything. And I thought I'd bring something personal in as well, but it'll definitely help with your business. One of our guests, Trina, actually went to my retreat, so I thought it would be a perfect time to bring it in. But I'm started my Live Your Dream Now retreat, and I really try to create a platform for my business partners of value, education, and a little bit of fun. Value, obviously, we have the show. We bring the best of the best in studio to showcase their business and to give great content to our clients and to you, the listener. For education, we have our monthly Power Hour Lunch and Learn, where we bring in a great guest speaker that has really great information. Just go to well, you don't have to say www anymore. Just go to Power Hour Lunch and Learn, and you're welcome to join and hear a great speaker. I also have my One Time Your Business 8-Week Burn live virtual coaching course for any business professional that has any stress in their business, which everybody has some type of emotional stress attached to their efficiency, time management in their business. You can go to onetimeyourbusiness.com. And then for a little bit of fun, I do Girls Night Out. That's kind of for the girls just to go have a little bit of fun. And I brought in, the end of last year, my Live Your Dream Now retreat. It is for a little bit of fun, but it's also value and education as well. It's just a day of reflection. It's a reflection about your past, what served you well and maybe not so well that you can work on throughout the day with the support of other great women that are looking to grow personally so they can get better in their professional life and they can get better in their family life and their community life. We focus on the present too. You know, what's happening in your present life, what's serving you well and not. And we look into the future. So there's a lot of really powerful exercises. It's at my home, and that's really special to me to be able to open my home to women. It's for women only, but I'm sure John's not going to care that I mention this. John's actually in studio on our panel as well, and he's Trina's husband. And when the email went out, it's the first event that we've done for women only. And so we just sent it out to all of our special people, not realizing that probably half of our special people are men. And so John actually signed up for it, and it said women only. So I called John, and he sent his lovely bride, which was really great to spend time with her. But if you're interested in my next retreat, it comes up on February 29th. It's from 10 to 5. So it'll be the last Saturday of every month. It's limited. There's only 10 spots, but I'm going to run them every month. So if you're really interested and a month works well for you, just let me know. You can go to Live Your Dream Now Retreat and learn all about it. So that's what I wanted to bring into Money Chat today. And without further ado, well, I guess we got to take a commercial break next. Coming up next on the Money Hour today, we are going to talk about new construction market. We have Gina Medea and Trina Torkelson, both with Windermere Yarrow Bay office, and John Torkelson with Protection Home Inspection right here at 1150 AM KKNW after this short break.
Trina Torkelson of Windermere Yarrow Bay has been a seasoned real estate professional since 1999. She understands that buying or selling a home is more than just a transaction. It's a life-changing experience. That's why she is dedicated to providing exceptional personalized service for all of her clients. Trina takes great pride in the relationships she builds and always works relentlessly on her clients' behalf to help them achieve their real estate goals.
Hi, this is Trina Torkelson. Please feel free to contact me today at trinatorkelson.com or at 425-563-8308. I would be happy to help you.
You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
Welcome back to The Money Hour on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, February 8th show. I am your host, Tina Mitchell.
And I'm your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
Your local mortgage experts. It's a great day to talk about money. That's what the show is all about, how to make money, save money, so you can have a better quality of life for you and your family. If you're hearing our show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast, but we're here to connect you with the guests that we have in the show. You can call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. And you can also catch us on podcast. In studio today, very special day because it's a panel conversation with very special people and definitely experts in their space. We have Gina Medea and Trina Torkelson with Windermere Yarrow Bay office. Also, we have John Torkelson with Protection Home Inspection. Today, we're going to talk about the new construction market, which I think is going to be an exciting topic. Before we get started, I want to share a little bit about the three of them, introducing Gina Medea and Trina Torkelson with Windermere Yarrow Bay office. Both are professional, top-producing five-star agents. They have sold over 480 real estate transactions. Trina and Gina are both dedicated to providing an exceptional real estate experience for their clients. They are experienced in all types resale, luxury, listings, condominiums, townhomes, and today we're talking about new construction. John Torkelson, when you're dealing with a new home, you want to feel confident in your foundation and in the roof, wiring, plumbing, and everything in between. Protection Home Inspections provides a thorough analysis with detailed attention and accurate statements. With 25 years of carpentry experience, John Torkelson understands the process of building a home from beginning to end. Welcome, the three of you today. Thank you.
Thank you for having
Great
us.
to be here.
Yay, so excited.
Well, let's start it out. What do you see happening? We're talking about new construction, which is a very pertinent thing. I mean, we see a lot of new construction coming up. So what's happening with this new construction in the real estate market, Gina?
Well, you know, the pundits had predicted that January of 2020 was going to be the new hot buying season, and it is off to the races. New construction is no exception. In the fall, we had seen with the sort of broader market slowdown, builders doing things to spur activity. They were increasing the incentives offered to buyers. So, for example, I was working with some last fall, and we were able to get quite a bit of money towards upgrades as well as closing costs and full appliance package, blinds, etc. Things that typically the builders don't like to give away for free. But with the change of the market in the fall, that was sort of normal. Now, that is just kind of waning. There's not as much of that. In fact, we're starting to see them back to the tactics where they'll release a finite number of lots in a community at a certain price, and then once those are under contract, they'll release additional lots with an increase in those base prices. So they're sort of back to the hot market tactics that we're used to seeing.
Got it.
And what do you think, Trina? How's it going on the old construction front, in your opinion?
Old construction fun.
The new construction. The new construction front.
So I've been seeing an increased demand. Recently, I've been writing in multiple offer scenarios on pre-sale construction. And pre-sale construction, the home hasn't been built, the dirt's in the ground. They're putting offer review dates on. Those homes are escalating. And those homes, so you purchase them at an escalator, and then you also add your upgrades, which are usually between 5 and 15% that can be built up into your loan. But we're just seeing homes go really fast, and the demand is increasing, especially if there's a school in the area that people are desiring. So we're just seeing a definite shift in the market, and there's very few new construction homes available. So the demand is on, so it's, and we have a supply issue.
Yes.
So we don't have enough supply in the market for the people that are looking for them. So we're definitely seeing that competitiveness come back that we saw in 2018.
Yes.
So we're definitely seeing the shift, and I think we're going to continue to see it with Amazon, hiring 15,000 workers in downtown Bellevue, and just all the tech companies that we have in the area. I see that will continue to shift, and we'll continue to see that demand. So really right now is a good time to get into the market, lock your price in, because I'm going to see even that new construction is going to increase at least $10,000. Sometimes we saw it $10,000 in a week. In 2018, I can see the same thing happening.
Yeah, and that's so true with new construction. One of the many great benefits is if you get in early, like you said, Trina, you've got the ability to have some instant equity before you even close on that property. And it's really powerful. To answer your question, because I've had this question many times from people that buy new construction, does that mean that we actually, if we're doing a 5% down, now it looks like a 20% down because it's the higher price? No, the lender is lending on the price or the value, the lower of the two. So even though it's a higher price, your loan to value is based on the price that, or higher value, the loan to value is based on the price that you make on the home. So great information. Gina, let's talk about the most important part about buying a home and the home buying process.
Probably the most important part of the home buying process is, begin at the beginning. And the most critical piece is, frankly, to get pre-approved.
Yes.
It just doesn't make sense, right, to go shopping if you don't fully understand your overall financial picture and what you're capable of. So I think that's absolutely critical. It's also important, especially now as the market's heating up, to work with a local lender, someone that is highly skilled in their profession and has that visibility end to end about how that loan app is progressing all the way through underwriting. And speaking of underwriting, I think getting fully underwritten is very important. The more your financial situation can be scrutinized, the greater confidence the lender has in your overall picture. And with new construction, sort of back a little bit to what Tina said, sometimes the build time is pretty protracted. And so you need to know early in the process if there are any issues you need to deal with. A credit repair situation,
yes.
Things can come up, as you know, right,
Yeah.
Tina and Keelan? So only having going through the fully underwritten process will that level of detail be revealed and may be able to put you in a position to fix the situation. With new construction as well, it's important to understand that the financing contingency typically expires in 30 days.
Yeah.
So you need to know you're pretty solid,
Yes.
especially if you're not planning on closing for 6 months. I would say the last thing under that whole umbrella of getting pre-approved with new construction is if the interest rates are good, you might want to consider locking early. Because as we know, they fluctuate, and what you are approved for today at a certain interest rate, if the market changes and the interest rates go up, you may no longer qualify for that same loan at that amount 8 months from now if we notice a market shift and upswing in those interest rates.
Yeah, and such great advice. Gina, there are extended lock-in programs for new construction, and then you've got a float-down option when you're actually ready to close. So there's some great options there. And so important, and thank you for the shout-out on the financing, but it really is coming from an authentic space that it's so important because especially even to a higher level with a builder than a traditional listing agent, that builder's got a lot of money on the line, and they must make sure that you are ready to go, underwritten, approved, know exactly that you can afford that house. And a lot of the new constructions are going to have you talk with their preferred lender. You got to talk with them. It's totally fine. Getting a second opinion, no big deal. But you can work with the lender that you want to work with unless they've got some incentive that's only allowed and available that they'll give to the new construction, but just a little bit different than what you're going to see in typical.
And what a different experience it is when you're shopping and you're already completely pre-approved. The confidence that you have, that you know your financing matches what you're looking at, and it prepares you guys as the agent significantly better to go out with a laser focus on what you actually want to obtain, rather than just kind of throwing darts in the dark. Because at the end of the day, there's what you want, and then there's what it needs to look like for your future. I mean, being a financial advisor is part of a portfolio, making sure that you can maintain that payment going forward, and you're comfortable with that. It's empowering. It gives you confidence. You're out there in the market doing what needs to get done. So
100%.
Trina, I'd love to get your opinion on why it's important to have a lender prepared in this market.
So what I'm seeing is on new construction that's completed, they're having an offer review date, and you really need that lender like Tina or Keelan to check in with that builder that's being represented, show them that they're fully underwritten, because basically you're in a competitive offer situation and you need that team to be able to win that house that is completed construction, because sometimes builders wait until they're fully completed homes, and we're definitely seeing that. I've seen that recently in the market.
Yeah, critically important. John, let's go ahead and move over to you. It is not just about the girls today. We're going to have you chime in a little bit here and there. Let's talk a little bit on the inspection side because it's critically important. What should buyers be looking for when they're going out to see homes?
Thanks, Tina. So, yeah, there's some pretty important things. You don't want to get into a home and pay for an inspection and have it fall apart, because of some basic things that you could have seen. A couple of the basic things when people walk in, those big ticket items like the roof. Is there moss all over the roof? You can go down to the furnace, and when you check the furnace, there's usually an inspection sticker on there. It's the best advertising for the furnace companies, and they'll have the date of the last service. So, if a furnace hasn't been being regularly maintained, that could be a red flag. And then just the overall cleanliness of the house, are they taking care of the house? Are they up to doing basic maintenance things? And those are, the last thing, the big ticket item is the windows. And you may not know a lot about windows, but you can look at the bottom seals and you can see whether or not they're cracked, whether or not there's moisture trapped in there. And those are big ticket items that could really sway whether or not you make an offer on the house or not.
Yeah, I mean, once you get in the house, some people, I can't believe people don't really think about this. Guess what? That's you. That's your home. And when some of these issues comes up, I mean, a roof, what is like $15,000, $20,000 pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Sewer scope's not a bad idea either. You never know what's going on under the hood per se. So important.
And I always say, if you want to know great things about the home, talk to the builder or their agent that represents it. If you want to know the realistic map of what's going on with that home, the inspector. The inspector is not there to say nice things. The inspector is to say real things of what's happening and what needs to be done.
John, what about new construction? What would you say what would you lean into for people with new construction that they should be looking for?
Yeah, that's definitely a question I get asked all the time. The home's a brand new home. I don't need to get it inspected. Back when I started in construction, we built the foundation, we built the floors, we built the walls, the roof structure. Now it's the foundation's built by the lowest bidder. The walls are framed by the lowest bidder. And those guys aren't getting paid by the hour. They're getting paid by the job. And so sometimes you can find some pretty shoddy construction techniques. It's amazing at some of the things they try to pass. But then they realize, nobody's going to be up in the attic. So if we cut a few corners in the attic, they don't check the furnace. The furnace is full of drywall dust because they were cleaning they were sanding the drywall while the furnace was on. So there's a whole bunch of small issues that can add up to big costs. One time I went on a roof and I found about a 6 inch by 6 inch hole in the roof, and it leaked water.
Oh my.
Brand new house, leaked water into the attic for two months while the house was being built, and now a brand new house had mold in the attic.
That's just craziness. And that's, people ask, they think because it's new construction that they don't need a home inspection. And it is such the opposite, because just like anything else that gets built new, there's things that can happen that are not put in the home correctly, and your inspector is going to find that. So let's shift over back with our two real estate experts, Gina and Trina. Gina, let's talk about a real estate agent. Why is it so important to use a real estate agent in new construction when there's an agent that's sitting there on that site?
Great question, and love the opportunity to elaborate on why that is so important. I mean, the short answer is you need an advocate and skilled negotiator on your side who's working for you. I think it's important for buyers out there who get pulled in by the open house signs and the big balloons and go to a new construction community to recognize that the site agent, who's certainly very knowledgeable and very friendly, is working for the builder and not for you.
Yes.
So like the example I like to give is, would you ask the prosecutor to defend you in a court of law? Probably not. So you want your own real estate agent. And by the way, buyer's representation doesn't cost you anything.
Correct.
But it affords you all of those protections, advocacy, and negotiation skills. So if you're going to go to a new construction community and you are interested in what they're selling and if it's a good fit for you, I would encourage you to seek your own buyer's representation. And of course, Trina or I would be happy to do that.
Absolutely.
For you.
And we're actually going to come back. I'm going to pick this question back up when we come back from our quick commercial break here. So coming up next, we're going to be right here on the Money Hour with our panel conversation for the entire show. You don't want to miss it. Today, it's all about new construction, what you need to know on the real estate side and the inspection side. We have Gina Medea, Trina Torkelson with Windermere Yarrowbury office, and John Torkelson with Protection Home Inspection right here at 1150 AM KKNW after this short break.
Buying a home can be one of the most exciting or scariest things we will ever do. Most home buyers have no idea of what to look for to ensure the largest purchase most of us will make is structurally sound and safe for our family to live in. Home inspections help ensure that corners were not cut to save money or that items were not incorrectly installed, costing the home buyer thousands of dollars after the purchase. Buying a home is expensive, and getting hit with large unforeseen costs can turn the excitement of moving into a new home into a financial stress on the whole family. Protection Home Inspection has hundreds of reviews online at Redfin Open Book and Google Reviews. And PHI is an Angie's List 5-star verified business.
My name is John Torkelson, and I'm the owner of Protection Home Inspection. If you have any questions or would like to book an inspection, give me a call at 425-275-7132. I also have online booking available at protectionhomeinspection.org. That number again is 425-275-7132. I look forward to working with you.
Is one of your New Year's resolutions to achieve the dream of home ownership? Let Gina Medea with Windermere Real Estate help you make those dreams come true. As a top producing real estate agent, she has the experience and know-how to help you navigate the complex Seattle and East Side real estate market with clarity and confidence. As a former athlete, Gina puts her competitive nature to work to craft a winning offer strategy to land the home of your dreams or achieve maximum exposure and top dollar for your listing. With home ownership being the most powerful drive of wealth accumulation at both a personal and community level, you owe it to yourself to work with a trusted advisor with proven results. So stop paying someone else's mortgage and let Gina Medea and Windermere, the top brokerage in the Pacific Northwest, help make your real estate dreams come true.
I'm Gina Medea with Windermere Yarrow Bay, and it would be my privilege to either help you buy or sell a home. So feel free to reach out to me today at 425-495-0926.
You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
Welcome back to The Money Hour on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, February 8th show. I am your host, Tina Mitchell.
And I'm your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
You're local mortgage experts. We are here to help you build a strong financial blueprint, 1 week and one show at a time. If you're hearing our show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast. We are here to connect you with the guests that we have on the show. You can call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. Or you can catch us on podcast. In studio right now, we're having a continued conversation and will be for the entire show on the what you need to know about new construction on the real estate side and on the inspection side. We have Gina Medea and Trina Torkelson with Windermere Yarrow Bay office. Also, we have John Torkelson with Protection Home Inspection, all about new construction. And before we broke for commercial, we were actually talking about the importance of having representation of your own real estate agent when you're purchasing new construction. And I loved what you said, Gina, in, when you're going in and needing representation for law, you're not going to use the prosecuting attorney. You're going to have a defense attorney. And the reality is that agents at sitting site works for the builder. And if anything comes up, their alliance legally by contract is to the builder. So you need that representation. Trina, what is your thoughts and some things that you can bring in on the importance of having a real estate agent buying new construction?
Yeah, so the most important is advocacy for the client and just being able to, the builder contracts are really long too, explaining the contracts, the warranties that are included, maybe adding a warranty if, say, a structural warranty isn't already included in the contract, and having a professional know that kind of thing. If it's a buyer off the street, they're not going to know that they need to do that and guide them through that process. I also help walk them through the process of, the final walkthrough, which is really important. So you have the inspection near the completion. You typically submit the inspection report to the builder. They use that as the punch list, which is super helpful.
Yes.
And then I come back with them and just blue tape, and I have an eye for looking for, those things that need to be done because their new home should be ready for them.
Yes.
And they shouldn't have to come back and paint or anything that the builder can do for them. So it's that advocacy and just making it as smooth as process as possible for them. Sometimes on their upgrades, things don't go very well, so it's even negotiating on the back end for them if need be. And, as a professional, I can help do that. I've done a lot of new construction and negotiated for clients and have experience working with builders, and it really does help to have somebody on your side.
Yeah, you've got to have somebody coordinating that process, and I think for the consumer, it's hard to see what happens, all of the things that happen behind the scene. And I always say the work really starts once the contract has been agreed upon. So much to do.
And as smart as people think they are, right, you can't replace that experience. You guys know things they don't even know to know. It's like saying, I watch a lot of football, but when you get in the game, it's a little bit different, So, I mean, it's so important. You can't replace that. You can only get that through going through these transactions. It's same in our business, in the mortgage business as well. I mean, the experience we get is tripping on our face early on and gaining that scar tissue to where now you're a vetted expert, and it's nothing's
Well
said. By, right?
I love that.
That's really good.
That's really good.
So, anything you want to add to that, Trina, that you can think of?
Yeah, I mean, the builder, you talked about it a little bit, Tina, but the builder oftentimes has you get pre-approved and they'll offer incentives. But really, in the bottom line is you have to match those apples to apples. And also service is a huge deal for you. So sometimes that credit may not be as good as it looks when you compare all the extra charges that they charge you. So also having that navigation process is really helpful to do as well.
Yes.
So trusted professionals are worth their weight in gold for sure.
Yes, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit, Gina. I want to ask you first in the online valuations. Let's talk about what the online sources, and especially when we're getting into new construction, and how accurate or not those are.
Good question, and it's important because a lot of the consumer base out there really rely heavily on what those online valuations like those estimates say.
Yes.
And I would say take those with a grain of salt. They're directional at best, and I think the key is to see what comparable properties, we say comps in the real estate industry, but what comps they are pulling in to derive that valuation. And with new construction in particular, unless it's part of a broader community in which other homes have already sold, or it's adjacent to newer communities where the home is similar in terms of age and style, you can see all sorts of weird things, and in such that the comparable homes that are being used to drive that estimate aren't comparable. We're looking at 1960s split levels, 1,800 square feet against a 4,000 square foot new construction. So again, directional at best. If you're that interested in understanding what the market value of the home is, that's where an experienced real estate agent can come in and run actual comparables to help you understand that. But keep in mind, even if I run that report, the builder's setting the price, and they typically like to get the price that they're asking for on the front end. So the sold price is $1.2 million, but more than willing on the back end to give you financial incentives towards upgrades or closing costs. But especially as the market's heating back up, you're less likely to see a builder taking a hit on the front end in terms of a price reduction, but more making you whole on the back end.
And that's actually a critically important understanding the difference between a resale home and a new construction. The builder will do anything not to have to lower the price, because that is going to affect things moving forward. And it's actually going to affect you as a buyer in the new process, because it's affecting the price moving forward. So yeah, they want the things to go towards upgrades and concessions. Trina, what about you on the online evaluations?
So I had a perfect example. Last weekend, I ran some comps for a new construction home that was close to View Homes. And I think they based the home price off the comparables in the area, but there were some stunning View homes, and this home did not have a view. So having a professional look at the comps for you and really evaluate that, because some people price on an estimate and it's not necessarily the best pricing terms either. So taking in all the factors, upgrades, everything, it's just better to have somebody who can analyze all the data and pull it from the Northwest MLS.
Yeah, the more unique the situation, lakefront, new builds, the more likely it's going to be a funky appraisal situation, and more important that you keep your eye on the ball and ensure that it's an accurate assessment, and you're not getting a fast one pulled on you. Hence why you get experts like Gina and Trina here to represent you, because they'll find those little holes in the game and make sure that you're paying for
Tina, Gina, and Trina.
I
I love it.
My head's
dream
spinning
team.
right now.
The dream team.
There you go.
And then John and Keelan.
Yeah.
Did you hear how she said that, John? And John and Keelan, like on the downswing. I mean, John and Keelan. Anyway, so speaking of, John, let's get you in the conversation here. What is the importance of getting a home inspection, John?
It's absolutely incredible. We touched on it a little bit before. It's a new home. We don't expect there to be any problems, and we can just go through the list of issues that happen on new construction homes. And then also there's the getting to know the house. You know, I go through the house from the roof to the foundation, and the clients are 99% of the time they're on site, and they can ask questions. We can go look at things. And I can't tell you how many times I've had parents of buyers show up, you know, maybe dad or uncle has a little construction background, and they go through and they're pretty satisfied with the house, but when they see the report, they're like, oh wow, I didn't see that, or oh wow, I didn't see this, you know. And so there's a lot of small issues that can crop up that we want to get taken care of. It's a lot better to get them taken care of up front. You know, if we have a squeaky floor, we don't want to wait in the house for a year while we're waiting for our warranty to come through and have that squeak. You know, they can pull the carpet up when there's no furniture in the house, and they can get that taken care of. So,
John, let's talk about the process of a home inspection, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about your fun tools too, because, and I say that kind of in a nonchalant, fun way, but it's really important and such a huge benefit to work with an inspector that invest in the tools that he needs to do everything that's needed in a great home inspection. So let's talk a little bit about the process, John.
So the process really will take you through everything that you would typically find out, you know, in a year plus of living in the house. I'll do it in a couple hours, you know. We'll start down in the foundation, and we'll kind of just work our way around. We'll look at the outside of the house, make sure there's no damage to the outside of the house. We'll get up on the roof, and we'll give it a very detailed inspection. You know, we go over the entire roof. We're looking for broken shingles and improperly installed roofing materials. And it's just amazing how much stuff you find, especially on new construction with roofs. I have a feeling that the roofers don't expect anybody to be on the roof, and so they take a lot of shortcuts, and we find stuff all the time on the roofs. And then you just kind of work your way down and just continue through the house. You're checking every electrical outlet, all the appliances, making sure everything's been installed properly. So just because it's brand new doesn't mean that it was installed properly.
Yeah, there's a big difference for our listeners between appraisal and inspection. Appraisal is about valuation. There could be things that come up on appraisal, but far in between. Your job is to go out there and look after these people's investments. I mean, you're on their side to ensure their money is going to this home, that they're spending a good chunk of change, maybe the largest purchase they'll ever make in their lives, making sure that they can, you know, feel good about it.
And he's going into all the details. The appraiser is just literally looking for value. If something's jumping out at an appraiser, like the roof is falling off, they'll call for a roof cert.
Yeah, so, you know, one thing, too, we see with these new construction is a year warranty. You know, the builders usually give a year's warranty. They're not going to call you at 12 months and say, hey, what you got any warranty issues? But people do hire inspectors to come back. It's a little bit less for a typical re-inspection because you're not checking everything, but you find all types of stuff, the house settling, doors, binding up, kitchen cabinets, and so it's pretty good to get a warranty inspection before your 12-month warranty's up.
Yeah, great advice.
Give me flashbacks to my dad. My dad's in construction. I remember he'd just walk around, hackers. He gets so frustrated because there's a lot of them out there. And his term for them were hackers. Who go out there and just slap stuff together. And there's a fine line between somebody getting something done quick and right and a hacker. Right. So he drilled that into my brain as a kid. So let's talk a little bit about how you make the process easier to protect your clients, because we were just talking about how it's important.
Oh, here comes the tools.
To have you protect clients. Let's talk about some tools.
So a lot of builders now will not allow inspectors to go onto the roof for the liability reasons, and they're concerned that they're going to damage the roof. So
shocking.
Yeah, and so we have drone photography, and we're able to fly drones, and it's really quite fun. I can't believe that I get paid to fly drones, but I can really get up on those roofs and where nobody else can get onto, and we give them a full inspection, lots of high definition pictures. Plus, we can get some really cool photos of the neighborhood. We'll go up, 400 feet in the air and take pictures of all around, and so clients really dig getting these aerial photos of their property. So. It doesn't have to worry about your home inspector falling off the roof and getting hurt. You don't have to worry about your home inspector getting up there and damaging shingles, but you do get a complete and overall good picture of the roof. So.
Yeah, and that's it's really great, again, just to have what you need to be able to do the job and do it well. On that note, we're going to take a quick break here. Coming up next, we're going to come back and stay right here with our panel conversation, talking about the new construction, the real estate process, the inspection process, and the benefit of new construction. We have Gina Medea and Trina Torkelson with Windermere Yarrow Bay office, and John Torkelson with Protection Home Inspection right here at 1150 AM KKNW after the short break.
Every 19 minutes, another baby is born addicted to drugs due to a dramatic increase in opioid use. Referrals to CPS are increasing, as are mental health issues in children. And teen suicide is now at a 30-year high. And for thousands of children and families, things are getting worse. Childhood trauma and adversity are a national epidemic that impact all of us, financially and morally, directly and indirectly. They're the root cause of the most urgent and costly problems that plague our communities, proven to increase poor school performance, incarceration, diabetes, suicide, heart disease, stroke, and cancer. That's 5 of the top 10 leading causes of death. Why aren't we doing more about it? Fortunately, Child Haven is. Child Haven is a 110-year-old organization that's preventing childhood trauma and adversity and helping heal children and families when it does occur. How are we doing this? Through a wraparound continuum of care tied together by relational health, the best predictor of lifelong well-being. But Child Haven can't do it alone. We must infuse relational health everywhere children live, learn, and play. If you're ready to address the root causes instead of applying Band-Aid fixes, we invite you to join us on this crusade. Visit childhaven.org or call 206-957-4806. That's childhaven.org.
You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
Welcome back to The Money Hour at 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, February 8th show. I am your host, Tina Mitchell.
And I'm your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
We are your local mortgage experts. We're here to help you build a strong financial blueprint 1 week and 1 show at a time. If you're hearing our show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast, but we can connect you with the guests that we have on the show. Please call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. You can also catch us on podcast. In studio, we're having a panel conversation, and we're here with Gina Medea and Trina Torkelson with Windermere Yarrow Bay office. Also, John Torkelson with Protection Home Inspection. Everything that you need to know about new construction.
So, Gina, let's talk a little bit about adding value as an agent to new construction. Where do you think that you see you have the most impact when it comes to adding value in a new construction contract?
Great question, and I'll harken back to part of our earlier conversation about why it's so important to have your own buyer representation in new construction and not rely on the site agent. And that's because with builder addendas, they are written to favor the builder. So they're not the standard NWMLS forms that we would use when buying a resale property. They are builder addenda written specifically to benefit the builder. And so one of the initial ways I add value is by thoroughly reviewing often over 100 pages worth of builder contracts. Each builder is different, so every contract is different. And what I'm looking for are those elements in there that could pose a potential danger, for lack of a better word, to my client. So, for example, it's really important to know when major contingencies expire. Oftentimes, that financial contingency will expire in 30 days. I've seen it as early as 21 days. It's pretty common as well for builders to include a delay of closing per diem or per day penalty. And it's interesting because the contract will allow the builder, due to elements outside of their control. We've seen that happen, right? The cabinet or flooring shipment's late, and so the closing date has to be extended. And they're free to do that at no penalty to them. But heaven forbid, the buyer, for whatever reason, has a personal emergency, needs to leave the country, and has to extend closing. The builder will always charge you a per diem, and it's really interesting to see the variance of that cost there. But those are just two kind of quick examples of things that I will look out for in builder contracts, and I will have a lengthy discussion with my clients about the things that I'm seeing so they can make an informed decision about, how that affects them and what additional questions they might have. I'm also big from the very beginning and then throughout the process, especially if it's a protracted closing, of building a really good rapport and ongoing relationship with that site agent. Because if something comes up along the way where I need additional advocacy on her part back to the builder through that process, it's a lot easier for him or her to want to partner with me to seek a resolution than if it's someone I haven't spoken to in 3 months since we got that contract inked. So keeping that rapport alive is important as well, and just another way that I add value.
And that's really huge. Gina, I want to bring you in on this as well, because there are very few resale agents, because your builder agents, they sit the site, have that instant business come in, they work for the builder, and those are the buyers they work with for that particular site. Other agents, they're mainly working resale, and there's very few agents that know and understand how to navigate through that unique big contract and understand the process of new construction. And that's why it's critically important that you work with an agent that does a lot of that. And when we talk about rapport, that's important that you have a rapport in the builder community so that they have confidence that you know what you're doing. Is that correct?
Absolutely correct. You definitely want to have a good relationship with a builder. I mean, you're negotiating for a client, but it's all about a balance of having, good rapport. You don't want to start off that relationship on a negative note, because you're going to be in a long-term. Some of these homes are 6 months, 12 months to 18 months to build. So that's a long-term relationship. So it's all about balancing out that and checking in with them, being a professional, being on, getting as much information and understanding where they're coming from as well.
Yeah.
The best agents best transactions that I've been involved with, you feel like with the listing agent and the buying agent, like you're more like a team that did it together, because at the end of the day, it's about getting resolution and getting kind of what's best for all parties. They want to sell their house. We want to buy it. And the ones that go wrong when there's no rapport, when you're like, ew, and you get this divide and just things get weird and twisted, and it's just not a smooth transaction. So that's such a great point that you guys bring up about that rapport and how important it is to have that relationship. And we're all on the same side here. We're trying to meet a mutual arrangement in a home, and there's no reason why anybody should be the bump on the log, right?
100%. Exactly.
So, John, we're going to switch gears a little bit. Manpower, we're going to get you back in here because Tina's always touting. I don't know, just shut up.
The manpower doesn't go as well as the girl power. I'm just saying.
I feel like chauvinistic if I say it. I don't know what that's about.
Who's the host of the show?
Yeah,
girl power.
And he shut down. So let's talk about common.
I love that Keelan doesn't care if I.
Not at all. I love you girls.
I bash a little bit.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Nothing but love. John, what are some common things? I'm really curious on your feedback on the things that you see out there most often when you're doing inspections.
It's kind of shocking when you find out. Sometimes I meet the seller and I will talk to the seller and they'll say, oh man, I've kept this house immaculate. I've been up on the maintenance. You go in the house and it is really a clean house, and you can tell they've taken time to do the maintenance on things. But when the crawl space is out of sight, out of mind, nobody goes down in the crawl space. The inspector comes along after you lived in the house for 10 years and your crawl space is infected with rats. And it is quite a shocker. The negative thing mostly about it is buyers don't like surprises. And so when a buyer goes into this home buying process and they hire an inspector and then all of a sudden they find out, oh man, there's a bunch of rats down in the crawl space. Leaking roofs is another one. The attic is really hot. And so when the roof is leaking, that water just evaporates. And so we don't see any staining on the ceiling, but we have all that moisture going into the attic. And now we've got a mildew or mold problem. Electrical is another big one. People don't get their electrical service panels permitted when they do upgrade work. And a lot of times it's Brother Bob or Uncle Jim that's come in there and rewired the electrical panel. And so we see a lot of issues with electrical panels too.
Yeah, so occupancy permit that you have to have before you close does not give you any type of security that the home is in great condition, you need to have that home inspection. So, Trina, I'd like to talk a little bit about the importance of you as an agent coming in and representing a buyer in new construction when it comes to viewing homes.
Yes. So when you're viewing homes, it's very good to have a professional with you to see those things. Like I saw a home where the sidewalk was sinking and there was cracks and it had just been built. So that is not a normal thing. We also went further into the home, saw the laundry room, and there was definitely a shift and it was sinking a little bit in the cabinetry. So it's those things that I'm pointing out to my clients that, you know, it's a sign of shoddy construction. And we moved on from that builder. We could kind of see that that was happening and then just pointed them in a different direction. Because ultimately, you know, it's about helping people find the home that they really dream about. If you're going to buy a home, you want to be happy in the end process. And that's my goal for my clients, is to advocate for them and for them to walk into their new home. And we're all smiling when we give the keys away. That's a beautiful thing.
Gina, do you want to add anything to that?
I don't know how I could top what she just said.
That's okay. I wanted to give you the opportunity, but how about you, John? With you mentioned something about inspections during the process, which I thought was really interesting and a cool idea. Can you enlighten our listeners about some of the things that you do during the process?
Yeah. So when the house is being built, you know, I talked about a little bit earlier about the lowest bidder being awarded, you know, the electrical install or the plumbing install, and so, or the HVAC install. And so these guys are not getting paid by the hour, so they're going as fast as they can. And before the contractor puts the drywall on the walls, I've been going into homes and verifying that the things that are going to be inside the walls are actually installed properly. We're checking wires, you know, they're pulling those wires through. Even a good electrician that really is on his game can pull a wire through a wall and put a nick in the insulation, and now we've created a fire hazard. So there's a bunch of, even with skilled construction workers, that, you know, accidents happen, and those are the things that we're on the lookout. So before the sheetrock goes on the walls, before that stuff disappears forever, we're going in there and giving it a thorough examination.
So we talked about building the rapport with the builder, Gina and Trina. And I think it's also critically important as well. You, the two of you, because you work a lot of new construction, know the reputation of the builder. And Trina, I just thought about that in the comment in the last question that we had with you, because there are builders that do not have great reputation, meaning if something goes wrong, it's going to be horrendous to try to get it fixed. And no matter what's going on, that's not a builder that you want to work with. You want to work with a builder that is going to be cooperative and help you through things and understand that mistakes can happen and they're going to fix it. What other things are you looking for in a reputation with a builder when you're talking with your buyers on maybe this might not be the right project for you to look into?
So one is in their contract that they restrict inspections. So if they won't let a home inspector come on, I know that we may have warranty issues. Yeah. And some builders are built under an LLC, so they could go out of business after they built the small plat. And so just having enough confidence, and that's why it's so important to have an inspection. If they're not there after the 1-year warranty, then you really have no recourse as well. So. Yes. And I know the builders that have great reputations. I mean, the really good ones, they want to do the right thing by the client. They want excellent reviews so that they have people purchasing their homes.
Yes, yeah. And also it's, too, you have to know whether you want top quality or you want a lower price, because there are builders that are building for quality and there's builders that are building for price. It's just like anything else. You have a discounted and a not discounted, and the quality of the service is going to equal that price. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And so understanding what that builder and what they're doing and understanding the buyer and what they're looking for in that home is important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Gina or Trina, I'm truly curious about this because this is something that I want to do at some point in my life. If I'm a consumer, a listener, and I want to go find and I want to build a home, what is kind of the what would you say kind of the first couple initial steps are, besides calling you guys, of course, because that's a given. But walk me through kind of that, what I should be thinking initial process.
So I'm actually working with someone right now to buy land, and their intention is to build on it. And I like to do a level setting with people because it sounds super sexy, right? To build your own house,
does, yeah.
Right?
Yes, that's what got me.
Yeah. So that's cool. Understanding what the lot can support, right? So you may be excited because you found a lot on Lake Sammamish for $300,000, but guess what? Like the slope is crazy. There are no utilities near it. You got to run them, out and to the street. It's going to take a lot of money and effort to clear the trees and to level the land, et cetera. So it's not just a matter of finding a parcel of land and building on it. It's understanding all of those other components that go into actually making the build happen, and that's more money.
Yeah.
Right? So it sounds super fun and super sexy, but it's actually quite involved from a money and time perspective. I like to tell people that they should, if they're not themselves, like going to quit their job and manage the process, like they need a project manager, because it is a full-time investment trying to coordinate the logistics and to get everything that needs to be done in order to just be able to build on the land. Not to mention permit lead times. Permit lead times are ridiculous.
Yeah, and another reason that it's critically important that you work with an expert that knows in that arena so that they can help you navigate through the process. Well, it's been a great show. As I said, starting out, it's one of my favorite to do our panel conversations, and I appreciate you guys coming in, the experts that you are. Did you guys have fun?
Yes, absolutely.
Always, yeah.
So if you want to connect with our guest, again, you can call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150, or online at themoneyhour.com. You can also catch us on podcast. And this is your host, Tina Mitchell, signing off for the day.
And your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
We will be here next weekend, same time, same place, right here at 1150 a.m. KKNW, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Tina Mitchell, MLO 145420, and Keelan Harvey, MLO 1330075, are licensed loan originators with Gateway Mortgage Group, LLC, and MLS 7233. The views expressed by the speakers on the preceding program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of Gateway Mortgage Group, LLC, nor are they necessarily endorsed by